session from Aussizz Group. My name is Kamaljeet Singh. I'm a registered migration agent, currently working with the Aussizz Group in Collins branch. So guys, welcome to another live session. Again, as promised, we are bringing, daily up to date in regards to department is updating, policies and stuff. Today I'll be discussing about more about 485 visas, which is TR visas. The live session is in English, Punjabi, Hindi. You can ask me a question regarding to your particular case, but if any further information is required, I'll probably ask you to contact us. So guys, moving on to 485 visa, which is normally popular as a TR, a temporary graduate visa in Australia, is given to candidates who have completed at least 2 years, minimum 2 years of study requirement in Australia, and the study is CRICOS registered. So why we are doing this live session is, guys, because a lot of students who have been completing their studies in July, and we have seen a lot of students who are still in a process of completing their studies in December or Jan. Why we are getting closer to that 15th March mark. It's always good to have a discussion in regards to 485 visa. So 485 visa, guys, it's basically will have two major streams, which is a graduate work stream and a post-study work stream. Graduate work stream is for those candidates who have completed certificate 3, 4 diploma, advanced diploma sort of. When it comes to post-study work stream, is something where a candidate has completed a bachelor's or above related to master's, a master's research or PhD sort of studies. Moving forward, guys, why I wanted to discuss more about 485 visa was, this is the right time period to discuss and study on your case, whether what kind of a course, when it comes to what kind of a PR pathway, I should say that, when it comes to utilizing this, TR sort of visa, that how I'm going to utilize this TR visa in coming future. So the candidates who have completed their qualification in trade occupations, especially certificate 3, 4 diploma or those kind of studies, is advised that you should be focusing more on getting your job ready program done. And moreover, we should also try to think that if I'm doing my job ready program in this particular state, is it any beneficial to me or not? So as a graduate work stream candidate, you must have completed any kind of a trade course. Now we have seen a lot many candidates who have not completed any kind of trade course, but they want to do something about it. So this is also a good time period for those candidates, because during this pandemic, when the changes were made in regards to 485, that any person who has completed 2 years of study can submit their application for 485 and the visa is granted. Then we advise them in that particular 2 years, you may try to study that particular course which is eligible for your permanent residency. So let's take an example in regards to that. Is, if for example, let's say candidate has done advanced diploma and diploma of leadership and management for 2 years and ended up lodging his 485 visa, but now wants to get permanent resident in Australia. So in that once your 2 years of TR has been granted, it's advised that you can either study a trade course or we can study any kind of other course which is relating to your permanent residency. In regards to, let's say, guys, English, previously when this pandemic was going through, department was accepting applications where they were not, candidates were not able to meet the English requirement, but they had intentions to go through that booking for the examinations of 485. Nowadays they are not considering as much, so you must have minimum 5, overall 6 in English requirement. So if you are going through PTE, so it's no less than 36, overall 50 in your PDE. So make sure, guys, you, while you are in that end time period of completing your course, you should go on to start preparing for PTE as well. So in regards to PTE, we have got application called PTE tutorials, which can be downloaded from application stores. I'll probably advise candidates that if you want to study a little bit onto PTE, we have got 10 mock test frees on our website, so you can go on to ptetutorials.com online, and then you can understand how PT works and you can try to achieve the score as well. So moving forward, guys, when it comes to a post-study work stream, candidates, post-study work stream candidates are those candidates who are major into, let's say, who have completed bachelor's or who have completed master's or higher sort of education. But let's say we are seeing candidates who have completed bachelor's or master's in, you can say, a relevant industry which is not related to PR. Let's say, for example, bachelor's of business. Now, a lot of candidates who are into business or who are into marketing, they will require a sort of finding a job in that particular sector before they can get a skill assessment. So it's always advised that you should utilize your studies, considering how much duration of the visa is. Given that for bachelor's we are seeing they're still giving 2 years, and for masters they are giving us 3 years of 485 visa. So you should utilize that time period to make sure that we are eligible for permanent residency and 65 points in for the future. So for 485 guys, I should say that in Aussizz Group we do not charge for 485 visa consultation, and this is going to be staying until March 2023. So if you're planning to get more information about 485 visa, I'll probably advise you that you come and visit us in regards to your 485 visas inquiries. While we are going through this, guys, we'll see a lot many people might comment in regards to their particular cases. I'll try my very best to answer all those questions. We've got one of the candidates saying, how much bank balance do we have to keep for health insurance for a family living in Australia? And how many days does the Home Office take to assess the application? Now, MA Hussain, in regards to, I believe this question is in regards to your student visa application, if I'm not wrong. But yes, in regards to student visa application, I'll probably say by the time your visa is granted, then only you can try and withdraw those funds, or else it's always better that you keep those funds handy, because while the case is being assessed, department may request for financial or even may not request for financial and end up refusing your visa application. Saif is saying, good afternoon. 70 points in regional New South Wales, number of occupation past 9 months. What are the chances for 1190? Also, can I add my overseas spouse in application without her PTE or else? Yes, Saif, you can still add your partner in the application, even if your partner is offshore. So it's always good that you should go into going into adding your partner, because anyway, if you are in a relationship, you have to declare that to the department. Moving forward, guys, Aussizz is our application which has a feature called Fund Calculator that helps you estimate the expenses that you will need. So if you are are looking for any sort of help in regards to migration, guys, we have been doing all these live sessions and videos and have been introducing Aussizz application, which is itself a product of all this. And you can trust that kind of a research we people do, and we put all that particular information in your pocket, and so that it's easy for you guys to understand how basically the migration program works in Australia, and what are the further requirements in regards to visas and stuff, and how the EUIs are working, how many points, and all those kind of skill assessment requirement guidelines, updates. Everything has been uploaded in that Aussizz. So I'll probably advise you guys that if you are that type of a candidate that you don't have time to meet agents, but you want to research more about it, I'll probably advise you to download this Aussizz application to check your occupational eligibility. And more or less, there's another thing, guys. In Victoria, as you already know, that there are skill levels required, like skill level 1, 2, and 3. Some people will have a doubt in regards to what occupation comes under what skill level. So this application itself is a handy tool to understand what skill level that particular occupation belongs into. Second is saying, is it better to study nursing in 485? Yes, it's always good to study nursing in 485, considering how long your 485 duration is. So if it is like 3 years of visa, you can go into bachelor's, or if you've done masters, you can go into masters of nursing. Is always a handy option. But sometimes nursing is not everybody's piece of cake. So I'll probably advise to meet a qualified education counselor at our city branch to understand what kind of a course requirement is for nursing, and if not, you may go into teaching or social work sort of a studies. Ajit Singh is saying, my friend's asking, he wants to claim partner English points. Only what option he has to select? Client wants to claim partner skill points. See, first of all, your friend needs to add your partner into the EUI, declaring that what kind of relationship he or she is into. Then he needs to proceed further with saying that you want to claim the partner points. Now, guys, I just want to educate you onto this, that when you are claiming partner points, you must have English mandatory. If you do not have English, you won't be able to claim 5 points for your skill assessment. Nurjor Ahmed is saying, hi, I received 189, but my ES skill assessment was expired on 2nd December. I already renewed it. So considering that all my other points haven't changed at the time of invitation of EA assessment is for lifetime, can I go forward? First of all, guys, no skill assessment is for lifetime unless it's your secondary applicant's skill assessment. If you're a primary applicant, your skill assessment will expire in 3 years, or given that if your skill assessment authority has mentioned that duration, it will expire, let's say, for example, ACS and NMAC, it will expire in 2 years. So in your case, as your skill assessment was expired at the time of invitation, it might be a concern that you might, at the time of invitation, your skill assessment was expired and the visa may refuse. But there are sort of, situations where we need to understand your case in detail before advising you further on to that. What are the chances of 190, 60 plus 5 in registered nurse? There are high chances, Q, for nurses. Most of the states, they are preferring registered nurses. So I'll probably say, stick with the 190 plan. But again, you've already got 60 points. If you can push yourself and move on to 65 points, there are high chances you might be getting for 189 as well. 189 processing time period. Ranjit Gill, department is going pretty fast with 189 applications. We are seeing they are trying to push a lot of backlogs which have been created in the past. So we will see probably in future that the visa application is gonna go very fast in regards to 189 itself. I just think he has to select yes to claim partner English points only in that question. I just think, I'll probably say if you can personally message myself, I need to understand your case because just, writing down the scenarios won't help me understand the situation. So at the moment, we have got these many comments only, guys. So let's move forward on to 485 visas. As I mentioned, 485 visa is for those candidates who have completed 2 years of minimum study in Australia and they want to proceed further with 485 visa application. Given to those candidates, minimum 92 weeks of CRI course registered course has been completed, combined or one course. So let's move on to, guys, what is to be cautioned in regards to 485 visa. Number one, you must have an English before lodging the visa, guys. It's always advised that you make sure that you understand in regards to English requirement, that English is mandatory unless you are holding eligible passport. If the English is not met and you've booked the examination, guys, that particular situation is still a question mark at the moment. In the past when it was COVID, a lot of PT examination centers were basically canceling the exams for the students and asking them to reschedule your exams. So in that case, department used to understand the situations which were not under applicant's control. But now I'll advise you guys that if your visa is expiring soon and we're going into 485, it's advised that you make sure that you have got English at particular time when you are lodging the visa. Quickly, I'll probably answer one of the questions. Ranjit is saying, Sir, Keda Vadiya 189 or 190. Ranjit ji, to my best understanding, 189 both Vadiya visa. I'll probably ask you that ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 189 ਦਾ ਇਨਵੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਚੁੱਕਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ 189 ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਫਰੈਂਸ ਦਿਓ in regards to considering that 189 is the strongest visa. Moreover, guys, 35,000 candidates were invited for 189 invitation round, which was a great, huge number, which is, a great news for especially migrants who were stuck in overseas during, pandemic. And we have seen a lot, many overseas candidates have been invited. So for 35,000. So in Punjabi, 35,000 candidate invite kite gaye ne, which is a very great news for those candidates, who were stuck and they were with less points. We have seen occupations like accounting, we have seen occupations like chef, motor mechanics, painting trade workers being invited on 65 points. So in coming future, I'll probably say, guys, there might be another one round going on in Jan or Feb, or if not, ish March. So if you are that type of a candidate who has only, sort of gone on to understanding the situation that, okay, there might only be a possibility of 190 or 491, and they have not ended up lodging an EUI for 189, that will be a big mistake. I'll probably advise you, lodge an EUI for 189, because we have already seen that 35,000 candidates have been invited for 189, and we might see more candidates being invited next year. So it's going to be a great news. for the candidates in general skill migration, because I think, all these 2 years during pandemic, the ridiculous sort of situation the student has gone through. Now, basically, politicians are trying to work out things that how it's going to be more beneficial to retain migrants in Australia to cover up that labor shortage. Okay, so that was it from our side in regards to the invites, and we'll go a little bit more into comments. Simon is saying, after diploma of nursing 1.5 year, can I get 485 visa from Sydney? See, Sam, as I've mentioned, the study must be at least minimum 2 years. So if you have done 1.5 years of diploma of nursing, we'll probably advise you to do some kind of related course, certificate 4 or certificate 3 related courses, which might be counted towards your 2 years of study, and then you can further on move on to lodging your 485 visa. Harjinder Singh is saying, hello sir, Victoria ਤੇ chef ਦੇ ਕੀ ਚਾਂਸ ਆ PR ਦੇ? ਹਰਜਿੰਦਰ ਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ 189 ਦੀ ਵੀ EOI ਲੌਂਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖੋ। ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ 70-75 ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਸ਼ੈਫ ਨੂੰ 65 ਪੁਆਇੰਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੈਫ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ 189 ਦੇ ਵੀ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਚਾਂਸਸ ਨੇ। ਬਟ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪੁਆਇੰਟਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣ ਰਹੇ, ਗਿਵਨ ਦੈਟ ਵਿਕਟੋਰੀਆ 491 ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਵਾਈਟ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕਿਆ, ਬਟ ਦੇਖਣ ਚ ਆਊਗਾ ਜੋ ਤੱਕ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਸਿਰਫ ਹੁਣ 189 ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਭੱਜਣਗੇ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ IT ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰਿੰਗ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ, ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਆਕੂਪੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਦੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਖੁਸ਼ਖਬਰੀ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ ਸਟੇਟ ਨੋਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਰਿਗਾਰਡਿੰਗ ਵੀ, ਤਾਂ ਚਾਂਸਸ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ROI ਲੌਂਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੱਖੋ। Amandeep Kaur is saying, sir, what about early graduate diploma in childhood education? Amandeep, this is a very nice course, which is probably one of the best courses once we are taking nursing out of the sector. Nursing is one of the preferable, and then we come on to going into teaching or social work. So if you're planning to study this course, it's a very nice option. But again, considering, we should also discuss what kind of studies you have done in overseas and in the past, that weighing up, which may lead further into PR as well. Chintan is saying, I have 145. I got 190 invitation 1 month ago. I already had my partner, but my partner is in India right now. I already 485 dependent visa, but not granted. Now what should I do? Just lodge the 190. Chintan, just add your partner into 190 and just lodge the visa. Even if your partner is offshore, it should not affect, because your partner can either be in Australia or either it can be outside Australia as well. So in that case, I'll probably say it shouldn't be any kind of an issue. Just lodge your visa, adding your partner for 190. The quicker you're going to be in the queue, there are chances your application will come up, finalized easily. Diploma of associate engineering in electrical, what are the chances? See, again, when it comes to any kind of a diploma sort of level, I'll probably advise, candidates that you should always weigh up your things, that whether this particular course, which occupation it leads into. So occupation is the concern. So I'll probably advise you to meet a nearest migration agent, Syed, before you can start, proceeding with this particular sort of studies. So I've done certificate 3 pathology collector. Does it works with the diploma? Yes, I am. So if that certificate 3 was a CRI course registered course, so combined certificate 3 plus 1.5 years of nursing, if you have already completed it, before July, I'll probably ask you to lodge the 485 visa, and there are chances, so then further you can go into diploma of nursing, enroll nurse PR pathway. In regards to, if you're in Victoria, we are saying they have invited candidates with superior English, or you might be getting an invitation for Western Australia as well. So yes, with 485, sort of studies, there are high chances. Yes, engineering technician is in, a sort of skill demand as well, Syed. So I'll probably advise you, just make sure your points are stronger, and more or less we have to also weigh up with your 485 requirement, what, how long the duration of the course is, how many points you are sitting on. So just make sure you are doing that as well. All right, before we go more onto comments, guys, let me quickly recap onto 485 visa. In Aussizz Group, we will not be charging any consultation fees for 485 visa, given that either you have done trade course or master course. And moreover, if you are proceeding further, any kind of studies with us, we will be looking after you as well. So guys, if you are still, trying to understand how this 485 visa works, what is professional year, what is job ready program, it's always good to, meet an education counselor in regards to a course or a registered migration in regards to your 485 visa. So because why? Because let's take an example, guys. If your visa is expiring in March and you have completed your studies in December already, it's a good option that before launching your 485 visa, you should understand what requirements are for permanent residency, which state we should move on to, rather than just sitting down and wasting time. And some people will just try to visit overseas and just waste time. So it's always good that you make sure that you complete your studies first, be eligible for 485, and weigh up which state's gonna be easier for PR. Moving on to some of the comments, Naveen Singh is saying, I've got 65 points in, I think looks like accounting. I've applied for Western Australia forum in June. Any chance to get again? You're living in South Australia. Naveen, if you are currently living in South Australia regional, 6 months of work experience in any sort of field, we are seeing candidates are being invited for 491. So that's right, guys. If you are living in a regional South Australia, which is, not Adelaide, we have seen candidates being invited with minimum 65 points in regards to 491. And if you are in skill level 1 and 2 and you've got salary package more than 65k, we are seeing the candidates being invited for 190 as well. Moving on to Amandeep Kaur is saying, sir, I've done masters from India and now doing diploma here. How much points I get for studies? 10 or 15? You will get 15 points, Aman. That is the highest qualification, which is equal to Australian qualification framework. What about bachelor's in electrical engineering in New South Wales? 55 points. See, Sapna, your points are pretty less. I'll probably advise you to increase your points a little bit in regards to, if you want to get the invitation, we should at least go on to, 75, 80 sort of points, and then there are high chances. Sarana Qureshi is saying, sir, I have 90 points for 190 and 85 points for 189 as a business analyst. I'm already working in my field, have a salary package this. What are the chances of 190 and 189 in next round? There are high chances, Asra. We have seen already business analysts being invited for 189 on 85 points. Given that those candidates was, basically where the secondary applicant was as well. So yes, there are high chances. Just stick to it. You've got nice package. There are both chances for 189 and 190 as well. Again, guys, I just want to advise people that if you have been invited for 189, please withdraw your ROIs and EOIs for 190. Get those people a chance who have been struggling from last 3 years, 4 years, or who have especially been stuck overseas. So I'll probably advise you that if you've already been invited for 189, withdraw your EOIs and ROIs for 190, because it will be trying to a great help for those candidates who have been not been invited from last 2 years. Moving forward, guys, what about 119 Western Australia at 85 points, mechanical engineer? There are high chances you'll require a job offer if you've been invited, if you're not in Western Australia. So yes, just stick to it. Again, Nagma, I'll probably advise you are sitting on 80 points for 189. Just submit an EY, because as I've mentioned previously, that 35,000 candidates were invited for 189. So that means if immigration ends up inviting the same figure in future, there are high chances that you might already get an invitations for 189 as well. All right, moving on. Before submitting PhD thesis, got teaching offer for 10 months in this. Shall I apply for 485? Again, Humayun, that's your own personal sort of decision. Whether you want to apply for that, I'll probably advise to stick with PhD, because you're very close to, completing your sort of studies, rather than just applying for 485. I'll probably advise you complete that and then go on. So moving forward, guys, as I've previously mentioned, 35,000 candidates invited for 189. If you have been invited, guys, please be generous to other candidates who have no other options than 190 and 491. Those candidates would be people who are married and they can't claim skilled partner points. Rather than we are seeing candidates who have been invited for 189, 190, and 491, and then they are just sitting down and thinking about which visa we're gonna go for. 189 is the strongest one we always advise, and 190 is the second one, leaving 491 as the third option, according to myself. So I'll probably say, guys, if you have been invited, please withdraw your EOIs and ROIs for other states and let other people, get the invitations as well. Now, if you are that type of a candidate, just an update for Victoria, that if you have been invited for 189 and you had selected Victoria in your EOI for 190 as well, Victoria is sending emails to people to submit a new EOI so that they can give the invitations. So again, it's, sort of your moral responsibility to understand that if you have been invited, just withdraw the EOI and leave people onto, getting the invitations for 190 and 491. So Guys, we have seen that for 189, candidates, once they were invited, New South Wales announced a big change. Victoria might wake up as well, considering they might start giving invitations to trade occupations as well. But it's always good to lodge in, EUI. Back on to 485 visa, guys. With 485 visa, we were going on to a discussion. People with the graduate work stream, they need to do a job ready program. Trying to meet a registered migration agent to understand before you lodge your 485 that what is a job ready program, so that your time is not wasted, because we are seeing that 485 visa have gone on to auto grants now. We are seeing 485 visa even getting granted the same day, the day we launch the visa itself, because no medicals are required and all those kind of things are happening now. So make sure before you launch the 485 you meet a registered migration agent. At all this, we're going to be charging no fees at all for your 485 visa consultation. Post-study workstream candidates, if you have completed bachelor's or master's, uh, especially into, let's say, IT sector, you might have to do a professional year program, or you might have to work for 1 year in your nominated occupation. Given that 189 invitations have been, coming from 85 points to 90 points. So if you are that type of candidate, even if your age is less than 25, you might be going on to 80, making 85 points, making you a strong candidate for 189 visa. So guys, for 485, you should understand that this time period is the golden time period, which a candidate has to understand, that this particular visa itself, it's going to give me that opportunity where a full-time work rights are there. I can study anything, what kind of study I need to choose, what kind of state I need to choose, and in that situation, in future, PR pathways. Okay, sorry, I think my audio, stopped for some reason. Understanding the situation, guys, that where a candidate wants to move on to 485 and wants to go on to enrolling into professional year. Okay, now if you are that type of a candidate, I'll probably advise you guys, in your 485 visa, while you are in a professional year program, okay, you should complete your ATH and CCL. Okay, so that does not means that we are seeing candidates that who have gone on to professional year, okay, they will complete their professional year and then they will start deciding to, okay, now I should do CCL, NATI, and now I should get ATH and all those kind of things, which is another waste of 3 to 4 months. Okay, given that the NATI's dates are pretty, hard nowadays. So I'll probably advise you that make sure, guys, you should understand the situation that if you are going on to 485 doing professional year, alongside professional year, try to do ATH and NATI. We have got Jaya Kumar Mahadevan saying, have the additional 2 years of 485 recently announced during job summit, recently completed studies December 2022, master's degree. Can we wait for lodging 485 for till additional 2 years and force? I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Jess. Maybe you are reading some other news, some sort of news, but yeah, anything which is, until the law has been passed, a lot of things are being proposed to the department to take into consideration. But again, until the law is passed, we can't probably advise you on what kind of changes we are expecting. But looking at the situation, we are seeing that in coming year or so, they're gonna trying to clear all these 2 years of backlog, so that we'll start fresh, and the situation is gonna become easier for the candidates in Australia. Moving forward, Nagma is saying thank you for joining, Nagma. So yes, let's guys. There is one thing which I should mention in regards to, guys, is 485 visa is your Australian Federal Police check. Okay, Australian Federal Police check is a piece of document which satisfy your character requirements while you are lodging 485 visa, must be done at the time of application, 24 hours prior to the application. So in that case, guys, this is one of the sort of reason we are seeing a lot of candidates who will lodge their own 485s, not knowing this requirement has to be met at the time of application. So when you are lodging and when you are submitting those applications, make sure you should be meeting a registered migration agent so that you understand how 485 visa works. And in that time period, before even you are stepping towards 485, you should have a plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of 5 to 6 sort of options to understand what kind of a visa option would be best for me in future when it comes to PR sort of option. We have got Lakshman Naidu saying, what are the chances for electrical engineer 1 and 9? See, there are very strong chances, Lakshman, given that how many points you are sitting on. So again, we have to weigh up your situation. We have to understand what kind of points you are sitting on. And then for the, we'll see how the department is reacting now. The way department has gone on to granting us, not granting, I should say, giving us the invitations, for a 189 visa itself, there are strong chances that point system might come down, but you should always try and expect that, at least trying to make sort of those points which are more sensible. When it comes to engineering, is something like 80 to 85 sort of points, and then there are strong chances. Okay, we are seeing Parishad is saying, I have my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering assessed by EA. I'm currently pursuing master's in industrial automation. My wife has done MBA. My University of Canberra is 18 months. From my country, Bhutan, will her 18 months MBA points for PR. See, again, when you are claiming points for your partner, Parishad, you need to understand is not the qualification, is the skill assessment and your English competency, which will give the points to the other applicant. So it doesn't matter what kind of study she has done. It's more or less, is that particular study relevant to any kind of an occupation, and is she eligible for a skill assessment? So if she is eligible for a skill assessment, and she's able to obtain a skill assessment, then she might be able to give you points in regards to that particular occupation. Anu is saying chances for 189 at 80 point system analyst. See, Anu, we've already received invitations for ICT business analyst for 85 points. So there are strong chances that candidates might be invited for 80 points onto 189. So again, if you can please try and increase your points, because you might be sitting on 7 each, okay, or that will be more easier, because 80 points are still not too bad. Stick with EOI. If same sort of invitations have been issued by the department in future, there are chances that the point system might come down, given that what kind of occupations they're going to be inviting on, whether it's going to be only IT or whether it's going to be only engineering. So all those kind of occupations will matter as well. So moving forward onto services which we provided Aussizz guys. First of all, when you are going into lodging your 485 visa, you must understand that OVHC health insurance is required when your bridging visa comes into effect. So when you are lodging your 485 visa, guys, you have to provide the department with the health insurance document. You can weigh up our health insurances at Get My Policy online website, which will give you all different sort of of course, Bupa is one of the best. We always advise people in regards to kind of facilities and requirements for the Bupa are pretty more handy for the candidates. Second services, I want to go on to is PT tutorials. Is one of the service which always provide in regards to understanding that PT is the major requirement of any sort of a visa. It comes to 189, 194, 91, or even 485, 482, 186. Most of the visas will require English unless you are holding eligible passport. Third application, which we want to introduce is OcuSearch. I've been talking about OcuSearch a lot. We have seen more than 10,000 people already have downloaded this application, which is named as an OcuSearch application, which is more related to migration, calculating your points, fund calculators. So it's a lot of those services in the application. So guys, go ahead and download this application to understand and check your eligibility criteria in regards to 485 visa or general skill migration, how things are working on. Mohammed is saying processing time period for 485 SC visa. I'm not sure what SC means. If it's subsequent entrant, is more or less we are saying approximate 4 to 9 months. But again, case to case basis depend upon. So I'll probably advise you, if you've lodged the visa, just wait for it. Moving on to another service, guys. IELTS tutorials is one of them. Is for the handy for the candidates who are enrolled into graduate diploma of teaching, have to meet IELTS requirement in academic 8778. We'll probably ask you to jump on IELTS tutorial online application, where you can learn about IELTS, and it's more easier for candidate to understand. Guys, sometimes it's a very sort of common question asked to me. It's pretty hard to obtain that kind of a score in IELTS. but logically, when we are sitting down and thinking that 8778 requirement more or less is listening and speaking, which is pretty easy for a candidate. So it's more or less you have to start working on your reading and writing rather than whole 4 modules. So it's I'll probably advise you to go on to understanding that. So that was our some of the services, guys. Aussizz Group in regards to understanding the requirement of the international students, what is required for 485 visa, health insurance is mandatory. You must have at the time when you are submitting the application, given that even if it is starting when your student visa expiring. Second, where can my partner be? Your partner can be in or outside Australia. Okay. And moving on, if your partner or you guys have been gifted with a baby during the visa process, you can add on your child while your 485 visa is still in process. Moving forward, in regards to major requirement is English. Make sure, guys, you've already obtained your English score rather than taking it to the last date and then you are not able to meet the requirement. So I'll probably advise you guys, if you are that type of a candidate that who is going to lodge 485 visa, come and visit us. We will not be charging you any kind of fees for 485 visa to understand the eligibility criteria of the visa itself and guide you further, what kind of a plan would be best for us in future. So that was it from our side, guys. Hopefully you might have enjoyed the session in regards to 485 visa. We did a little bit of a discussion in regards to invitations. I try to answer your questions. Umaima, I'll quickly give. I'm on 485 visa. Does going overseas for 5 or 6 weeks affect the eligibility for applying for second 485? My depending, department understand that you are going overseas. Anybody can go overseas, but it's more or less where you are leaving the country where you have been living. When we are talking about your second 485 visa, which is more into living in regional sort of things. So that was it. Okay, Muhammad is saying if we did not notify the department about change in relationship status on bridging visa, so when we apply for 485 visa for dependent, will it create any problem? See, Muhammad, I'll probably advise you that you should visit our office. I need to understand your case. First of all, guys, any kind of circumstances which have been changed in your life must be updated to the department. Now, intentionally or unintentionally, sometimes people will forget to update the department. Department do understands that, but as long as if you have an intention to update the department, it's always good that when it comes to relationship, your addresses, your jobs, and all those kind of situations, you should always try your very best to update the department with at least 7 to 14 days, so that in future when you are doing applications like permanent visas or citizenship applications, it will not impact us. So that was it from our side, guys. I'll probably advise you, if you're a 485 candidate, come and visit us. We do not charge for first consultation. In regards to your 485 visa, trying to understand your situation in regards to whether we're going to go into job ready program or whether we're going to go into a professional year. Moreover, if you are that type of candidate as well who is planning to change his or her course, if you've got a recent student visa granted or you have recently arrived in Australia and you believe you need to understand more about PR pathways, we'll advise you to visit to our closest Aussizz Group branch and meet a registered migration agent itself to understand the situation better. And at the last, I would like to mention Aussizz is the application, guys. You should download and understand that what occupation you are coming from, what are the requirements, what is going through the selection program, what is the skill assessment, how many authorities they are, and all those kind of things in regards to different occupational eligibility. You can get yourself up to date information from there onwards. So that was it from our side, guys. And while we are heading towards this weekend, I'll hope it's going to be nice and sunny in Victoria, and you guys will have your nice weekend ahead. From now on, this was Kamaljeet Singh, registered migration agent from Collins Street branch, and you guys have a nice evening. See you later.